DC the beat man. DC the beat man.
So epic.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And as you can see, we got my guy Sharper here. Sharp, how's everything with you, man?
Hey, living the life, man. Up here chilling.
I feel it. You out? Look like you outside on the stoop a little bit, or is that the balcony?
Out here now, I'm on the Lanai down here in Florida, man. Down by my chilling, working on my tan, trying to.
Okay, yeah. See, it looks like your weather situation might be a little bit better than ours. It's not raining or anything like that, but it don't seem like it's too.
Nah, it's not too
great.
good. They haven't had rain down here. My dad said in about 45 days. And a little drought.
Yeah, pros and cons to that, I guess. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd like a little rain personally, but that's fine. Look, let me ask you this, man. All right, so look, ladies and gentlemen, this is a basketball show, so we can get right on into it now. We got the 2023 WNBA predictions. Now, before you guys leave, we're not going to talk about all the teams. All right, we're going to talk about 3 of them things. So, with that being said, the Chicago Sky. They've had quite a little turnaround. You lose. Damn, they lost Candace Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, Allie Quigley, and then after that, you make a couple of trades. You still have a respectable roster. Matter of fact, let's pull up the roster while we got him on while we talk about him, right? So, you have Kalia Copper, you have Rebecca Gardner. Are those the only incumbents? Dana Evans, I think, was on the squad last year too. It's looking a little new now. To be fair, Marbury, Courtney Williams, Elizabeth Williams. These are
Isabel. So like
Isabel Harrison. These are these are these are solid players. But again, they had championship aspirations just last season. So my question is this. I have a starting 5 of them, and it sounds like this: Rebecca Gardner, Marina Marbury, Kalia Copper, Isabel Harrison, and Ask. Here, I'm just going. I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Astu.
I have a bold prediction too. You going off bold predictions? I got one for you. I'm gonna predict who the lead scorer is gonna be. One of it's gonna be
probably Kalia Copper.
It could be her. It also could be the newcomer Isabel Harrison. I mean, she averaged 12, 13 points last season. She comes in, she might find her niche, especially if she's in that projected possible starting rotation. So, I mean, they had a lot of players. So
that'll be interesting to see.
Sometimes, just like for example, everybody always says players that are slow to develop or have maybe issues with one team, they just need to change. I don't feel like, of course, she didn't. I feel like if you're averaging 12 points a game or whatever have you, you're not having an issue fitting in. But sometimes change the scenery can also increase your points. So she might go from 12 to 13 to maybe 15, 18 points a game.
Well, I think more opportunity definitely helps out. But I know when I'm looking at, even though, playing time dips, like where they seem to be, like last season she was giving me 18 minutes, and the season before 24. So I understand, 6 extra minutes can help out significantly. As long as she's showing energy, I think she should be able to start. Like I said, she's on my starting roster so far. And then off the bench, I think you have Courtney Williams, Alana Smith, and Elizabeth Williams. Like, that's not a bad roster to have. And again, we have height, we have versatility. Like nobody is short on this team. Like 5'11" is quite tall and is respectably tall in the WNBA when we're talking about guards. So I think this team can compete. The question is though the playmaking aspect. I am curious about. I know Mabry is like more known as a shooter. I know she can play make though, but I'm curious who's going to be the real playmaker. It's going to be. I think a lot's going to be expected on Kalia Copper to play make a little bit, which is interesting.
So it might be Kalia, Isabel, and Marina. Those might be like your three main. I would call them the big three, but your main three like focal points. Like if you're an opposing team, those might be the three. If we're going off based off the starting five, those might be the three. Like if we could shut two of them down, not prevent them from scoring, but if we can limit their points, then we have a good chance of possibly winning. So I feel like those would be the three go-to players. That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, they're their guards, so I think end of day, if I got to choose some people, I'm basing this off more so of stats right now, which stats don't tell the entire story. But I would assume Mabry and then Copper are gonna lead that because again they're the guards, right? Like they're the shorter guards on this team. But I also got to look at Rebecca Gardner as well because I liked her defensive tenacity, and I thought too she might be a solid combo guard, but I think she has the ability to play point guard as well. So I do. If Gardner can take on that mantle that I'm expecting, then the Sky might also. They might be retooling more so than rebuilding, which I initially thought. And that's going to be interesting as well. Like they could sneak into the playoffs.
Might be playing like chess, just moving certain pieces around and seeing how they all form together, see if they can form and fit together like Voltron. Hey.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing that the Sky did do well was they assembled a team that Candace Parker eventually wanted to go to, where you can just plug and play. So if you do the same thing, which they've shown the capability to do so, I think they actually could surprise some folks before long. I mean, we're talking about the Aces and Liberty, but I do believe they have a chance at, shaking some things up if the right things fall.
Let me ask you this real question. I feel like, so ever since the Chicago Sky, for the most part, has come into existence, right? Like, I'm a big Mystics fan, whatever happened. Elena Deladon was with them first. Like, they had a marquee name, Elena Deladon. And then they made that trade with us, and we gave them Big Mama Steph Matheson. She was there for a little bit. Candace Parker teamed up. They were able to get a championship. Steph went now. I think she's with the Liberty. And then, Candace left. They've always had like a marquee, like somebody that the face of the franchise. So I guess the bigger question is, it's not every team doesn't have to have a face of a franchise, but they went from Elena Deladon. They had a quick like Stephanie for a little bit, and then Candace came. There was Candace's team. She wanted to go back home. Who do you feel like maybe could be the face of the franchise for the Chicago Sky?
I mean, anybody. It just depends on who wants to go there. Like being the face of a team it just depends on who's the best talent on that squad. Like right now, it could be Kalia Copper because just a couple seasons ago, she was the Finals MVP. So I mean, why can't it be Kalia Copper? You know what I'm saying? Like the face of an organization typically is who do you want to build your team around for the foreseeable future. And right now, point in time, there's no other player on that team outside of Kalia Copper. And I think she also is deserved of being the face of the program. Again, she's the Finals MVP for your team.
True.
Like I gotta look at Kalia Copper for that one. So I mean that was easy. Now I think that kind of ties into my question. Who do you think is the X factor for the Chicago Sky? Because
Isabel Harrison. I feel like if she can come in, what we see, she got about 12 points last year, 12, 13. if she can get that up to like 15 and be a solid, obviously.
Here's what say hold on. Here's what she pulled up last year. These are her stats. Her career actually, but
So last year, let me see. So she had 8 last year. So she okay. So it's been up and down. I feel like maybe more playing time. Maybe. I mean, it also is about.
She had more playing time. She was given 12.
But it's also about because like she got right. So it's also about like, do you fit the team's chemistry? Do you fit like their dynamic, like how they play? A lot of people think, just real quick. I know we're talking about WNBA real quick, but a lot of people, I know you and I didn't immediately think this, but when Kyrie went to Dallas, everybody's like, yo, that's about to be the best backcourt in the league. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop the Mavericks. And Trey, where are they at? Are they going to be like me and you sitting at home watching the playoffs, enjoying popcorn and having a sip of a drink? I think so. So it's all about, do players fit? Like, so could she possibly, so we see 8.7, right? Let's say she can get 12. I was wrong. I apologize. If she can get 12, 13 points, now, like you said, more time, more opportunity. It's all about how, if she was in that projected role, like, And do you? Can you all?
I look at it like this, bro. On this team, I have 3 players who can score, possibly better than her. I apologize for messing up the center's name. I don't even want to do that to myself no more. But like, nah, seriously, bro. Matter of fact, hold on. I know they got like what it sounds like. I promise you, like it.
Those names, I just start calling by initials.
Stu Nidor. I think.
Hey,
I apologize if that's not how you say it, but on that role on this team, you got to have somebody do the gritty work. And like, don't get me wrong, I think Rebecca Gardner definitely could. But again, from a scoring perspective, I think these 3 players. Heck on it, I keep thinking I'm showing my screen. I think these 3 players right here are going to be your main scoring options. So I got to look at her as getting the rebounds, not really relying on the scoring as much. Score when we need you to, keep the defense honest, but make it a little easier for these 3, which again, they have good height. They're both like, these 2 are 6'1", right? Defensive minded, can pass, can shoot the ball. This could be, they could have a Golden State Warriors like system, meaning in terms of like how they try to play. I'm not saying anyone's Steph. I'm not saying anyone's Clay, although my boy Devin did try to say that Mabry is Clay. But I think they could have a respectable playoff type situation. If not, too, I'm not mad at you. Maybe you could try to get a top 3 picked in and go Angel Reese or Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark. But I don't think they need to. I think they have a good team in place. Now, I don't want to harp on them too much, because we got some other teams to talk about, Sharp. Such as, and this team that you could view them as retooling. Building. You know what I'm saying? The Indiana Fever. And matter of fact, let me just go ahead and do this. The Indiana Fever. That's who we talking about, right? What's your thoughts on the Fever before I show the screen? Have you followed them much? Are you a fan of them really? Like, what's your thoughts on the Fever?
I'll be completely honest. I have not really followed them a lot. I'll be completely honest. They probably are going to get Aaliyah Boston, more than likely. But I know Aaliyah Boston in college, she was a double-double machine. So, for the most part. So, carrying that weight, speaking hypothetically, if you were to get her in the draft, And the ping pong ball, drop your way, y'all number one, y'all snag it. That's a lot of pressure for a rookie. Speaking hypothetically.
Let's pull up the roster and see if she really gonna have a lot of pressure then. Because like you said, they are drafting number one, and they're more than likely gonna draft Aaliyah Boston. Now, when I have this team, my starting lineup is looking like, in my estimation, Erica Wheeler, Kelsey Mitchell, Victoria Vivens, Melissa Smith, and then I have Queen Egbo in here because I made the team based on, like, I didn't include draft picks just because, like, one, you don't really know where players are going to get drafted officially outside of the top two. We know Boston's going here, and then Miller is going to the to the Lynx. So with that being said, though, we can slide Egbo to the bench potentially, or to the bench, and then Boston goes number one at the center spot. So again, just to clarify, these will be my four starters, or these will be my starters along with Aaliyah Boston and Yep, there we go. All right. So we got them, like I said, plus Aaliyah Boston. I think personally, it won't be a lot of pressure on Aaliyah Boston. Here's why I say that: the Indiana Fever. I was telling Naomi about this. They actually could sneak into the playoffs this very season. I remember last year she said the Indiana Fever. They're surprised. She's surprised that they've been at the bottom for so long, just because they've been drafting so low for so long, right? And you would think that talent starts to accumulate at some point in time. I do believe that point in time is this season. If some teams surprise me, then maybe the youth might hurt their chances of getting to the playoffs. But an 8th seed, 7th seed is a very possible point in time for me right now. What's your thoughts on the Fever? Again, we got a young squad, but does that change your mind a little bit? Because again, they can go deep as well. You still got Donnie Henderson, Maya Caldwell, Lexi Hull, Emily Inksler, Emma Cannon, and Queen Egbo that can all come off the bench for that team. So I mean, they have the depth, they have youth. Like, you still think there's pressure from Boston?
No, I mean, if they can play her, like her coming off the bench, it depends on how quickly and how smoothly she gets acclimated to the WNBA game.
You want the number one draft pick coming off the bench when the number 2 draft pick last season was starting?
I mean, look. I'm saying maybe for the first 2-3 games. I'm not saying for the whole season. Just let her.
What's the purpose of her coming off the bench first 2-3 games? Because again, there's 40 games in the season. So you're saying the first 2 to 3 she's coming off the bench, just to get acclimated to the game?
Yeah, I mean, just to see. It all depends on. Again, it's all about scheme. I mean, they're going to draft her more than likely. Do you really want to throw her into the fire right away? Now, here's the thing. Like I said, 2 games. Let's say 2 games. Shoot, she can be starting a week after the season starts. These women got back-to-backs, whatever have you, just to see how she does. Now, I will say this: I do watch the WNBA. I do wish, because I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong or not. They don't have the summer, like they don't have. I know a lot of the women play overseas, but they don't have like the rookie summer league type games like the NBA has, right?
I don't believe you're talking about like a summer league type. There's no G League type affiliations. There's no. I don't believe they have the rookie. I don't believe they have that rookie.
That's the one thing I wish. I think that's the one thing I wish the WNBA, and I hope that they can get that for these young ladies coming in. I hope that they can get like a, a G League affiliate, and I know I'm getting off topic, but a summer league, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the only reason why I made that comment. Just, getting her toes, getting her feet wet, dipping her toe in the water, getting used to it, and everything like that. Because I have seen, like, I remember Candace Parker did an interview, and she started right away. She was like, it was she was so used to everything coming so easy at Tennessee. I mean, of course, she's a future Hall of Famer, but she said like it took her like that first month to really get acclimated to, because she thought she was gonna come in and just dominate. It took her that first month to be like, okay, like it's real deal. That's the only reason why I say that.
Interesting. So I was looking. I think the concept you brought up about the summer league would be interesting. I don't think there's a summer league at all. Which I think there's enough players drafted to the point where you can form up some teams and be like, all right, let's put these teams up against, let's put these players up against these players. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be some league. There could be a league within the WNBA where you can like start playing and picking players from those. It could be similar to the G League for the WNBA. Like that should easily be doable. And I don't see how you can't make that type of situation. So I would love. Yeah, we definitely got to revisit that. For Boston starting, versus coming off the bench, I hear you. Because you don't know how fast someone's going to be acclimated or is going to acclimate to the game.
Yep.
With Aaliyah Boston, though, she's 6'5", she seems mobile enough. I understand she didn't have the best game against Iowa, right? She got into foul trouble a little bit. Some people might have some questions about her game. For an entire season, we called her the unanimous number one pick. Like I gotta assume she can acclimate and adjust pretty well. I'd be pretty shocked if she couldn't. So for me, looking at her on this team, I don't think there's any pressure on her starting because she wouldn't have to be the number one focal point. You have to play there. You got other players who can kind of pick up that slack. Erica Wheeler is a quality point guard who can feed the bigs the ball, because a big needs a guard in order to really shine and thrive. So I think she does not have that pressure. I understand why you say that, though. I would just say, I would rather her start. This isn't for me. I wanted the Warriors to draft LaMelo Ball, and I wanted LaMelo to come off the bench. And if I wanted him to earn his time to really, truly appreciate that role because of the system he was going into, I don't think Aaliyah Boston is going into that championship pedigree type system. So I'm not taking the same approach with her on that. Oh, Sharper, we are here because I guess for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this before we did it. The X factor for the Fever. Who would that be for you before we transition?
I'm gonna push all I don't gamble, but I'm gonna push all my chips to the middle of the table. If she gets drafted number one, it's gonna be Aaliyah Boston.
So you think Aaliyah Boston is gonna be their X factor? Interesting. Okay. I actually think the X factor is going to be.
I think she's gonna average 10 and 8.
I don't think that's the X factor. I feel like the X factor is someone who's extremely important. Don't get me wrong; she is important to their future, but for this particular season, I think they can get by with her not necessarily having to dominate or anything like that. I look at Erica Wheeler. I look at Nalissa Smith. Those are two players that I think are the X factor reason why. Erica Wheeler is a dynamic guard, very underrated. And then when I look at Nalissa Smith, she actually had a really solid season last year. It was overshadowed by Ryan Howard's rookie year All-Star berth. But how many rookies are doing that? And again, Nalissa very well could have made the All-Star list herself too. I mean, who won't Sylvia Fowles last season? Maybe Nalissa sneaks it in over Sylvia. Who knows? Like she's a good player. So those two players, again, bigs, they need someone to get them the ball. Erica Wheeler can help Aaliyah Boston out. And then with Nalissa Smith, she can bring the ball up herself. So she's developed real well. Maybe she can have her all-star nod this season. And now the Fever are really trending in a really good direction, because now you have an all-star caliber player, and you're just waiting to see if Aaliyah Boston will pan out. So those are my two X factors for the Fever. We got we got the moment that I'm certain you've been waiting for, Sharper. You know.
Oh.
We got the Washington Mystics. Okay, now is there anything you wanted to say quickly before I, show this? Before I show the roster, I'll let you go on your soapbox.
Can we just stay healthy? That's all I ask. You know what, Elena Deladon, it was great having you back. I just hope that you can continue to stay healthy. Shakira Austin, she balled out. I'm still hurt that they let go of my crush, Melissa Clark. She's with the Aces. Lord have mercy, the women are stacked out there. But I feel like we have a chance. We have a chance. We brought in some new help. We brought in Brittany Skies, and
All right, let's hold on. I was about to say, hold on. You starting to go down the roster. I'm about to go ahead and pull it up now. So look, here's what I'm thinking about your roster. Right? Tell me what you think about this starting lineup. Tell me if you want to tweak it. Now y'all got a couple of decent players out here, right? Like I like Brittany Sykes as a pickup for you guys. That's gonna work wonders for y'all. So I got Natasha Cloud, Ariel Atkins, Brittany Sykes, Elena Deladon, and Shakira Austin. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and just.
You know what? You know what's crazy? Let me tweak. I'm about to tweak your starting five.
Oh, let me make sure you know exactly who we got, so that way.
We got five. We got one.
And then Natasha.
Oh, coming back. Right. Can't home.
So who would you change up?
It depends. So like, I feel like. See, now you got me in a tough spot
because here, all right. Let me tell you my bench, and let me see if that changes your mind too. Because off the bench, I was gonna have Christy, Satori, Avina, Maisha, and then Amanda. But I also forgot too that you guys got our first round draft pick this year, meaning my Sparks. So you guys are gonna draft Suarez. So I feel like 8'6" big.
I feel like this. I feel like you know what we might do, because it matched that intensity in the backcourt, like that high. See, here's the thing: you got Brittany, who came in. She's a 2-time defensive player. Like I feel like this. Our defense, that was the main thing. Health and defense was our main issues last year. So you bring in Brittany. She's going to bring that grind. The top is going to in the backcourt.
You said this the starting five?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and at first I was going to go with Christy because I was hyped just to have her back.
Right, I thought that too.
She was part of the team that, when we won with Atlanta before.
2019, right.
Happy. I know she's happy to be back. She's scrappy. You don't want to have too much, like, you know what I'm saying? I thought about it at first glance. Originally, I was going to be like, okay, Natasha, Christy, Elena, Shakira, and Ariel. And I was like, nah. You're going to need somebody to match. Like, coming off the bench, you're going to need somebody to match that Natasha Cloud energy so there's no drop-off. Christy, even though she's an older player, she's been with this organization before. She knows what it's about. She's about winning traditions. I think, didn't she win with y'all too, though? I thought she won with
did.
Yeah, so she's won with 2 different organizations. Ironically, both of our teams. So, and she's back in the DMV. So I could see her coming over, maybe even even though Natasha Cloud can hold her own, I feel like Christy is a well-respected player in the WNBA. And her voice holds weight. So also maybe actually, she might take Natasha and Brittany's game up a level just because she's been there, done that. She's a champion. So,
I think she adds that experience like you saw on the screen. Played about 13 seasons, had a couple of injuries here and there. But I remember Christy Tolliver at Maryland. She was a bucket. And when I look at Christy Tolliver now, I see somebody who can hit the 3 ball when I need her to. I need a quick 10. Okay, I'm going to get that from her. Like, I'm not talking about consistently. All I need is in spurts, and then somebody who can, again, manage the second unit, because you guys have a couple of interesting pieces. Like, Shatori, all right, Corvina, who didn't play last season, That would have been nice for you guys to have, but due to injury, cool. We'll see how that shakes. But she comes out of UConn, so she doesn't have. So she comes from good stock. Like you guys have a good player, and then Amanda didn't play last year. I forget the reason why, possibly due to injury, or maybe we cut her for some reason. But like fresh legs. So again, you guys have talent. Um, I think it still kind of just falls on Elena Deladon's health, right? So, matter of fact, let's pull up the screen so the people can kind of see who we're talking about. Who would you say is y'all X factor outside of Elena Deladon's health, right? Like outside of EDD, like who's your X factor?
Shakira. And
Shakira,
her taking that next big step.
Yep.
Now she's confident. Because if you get her going with Elena Deladon, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. No, that's a whole problem right there.
I was looking at some of her clips and stuff. You get her coming off the bench and stuff, like you said, running with the Christy Tolliver, that's gonna be some issues.
Yeah.
Because if you have two bigs that can score at will, and can feed off each other. And we saw that with Shakira Austin, like in games when Elena Deladon didn't play, or maybe she was struggling with injuries, so she didn't have her best game. Shakira can show like I belong here. Like she's down, next woman up. Like I'm here, I'm ready. Coach, put me in. So her gaining that confidence, and I know Elena. I was listening to NBC Washington and Monumental Sports. Elena gave hella praise to Shakira, talking about how proud of her she was, the big steps she was taking, and she knows how it can be rough being a rookie. But she showed out when the lights were bright and on the biggest stage or stages. And Elena said, part of the thing she felt bad about was her health, because she said, I want to be out there to play with her. And one thing she said is, if you get me and her out there together, it's gonna create issues and be problems for other teams. And I totally see that.
Yeah, no, they're a solid duo. They work well together, and I like the fact that and I like the fact that Shakira was able to play with a bunch of stars last season. Like during the off season, she was able to play like after the season. So in the summertime, gain that experience. You start to gain that confidence. So when you come back that next season, you're gonna do a little bit better than what you did the year prior. And again, that was just her rookie season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do. I know I was talking with DJ Heat, and she said that she can reach All-Star. She can become an All-Star this season. I think it's possible. If I had to lean a percentage, again, I think I said 60-40. I'm not quite comfortable saying All-Star, but I'm not saying she can't reach it either. Like you guys, I agree with you. That is your X factor end of day. Because Elena Deladon is pretty special. But hey, what happens if maybe Shakira reaches? I'm trying to give a comparable level, because what happens if Elena Deladon doesn't have to do as much on the offensive end? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happens if Shakira can reach her at that level? I don't think that's happening year two. But if she can, like, the higher she's able to take a jump, the less of a load on Elena Deladon, and now your team gets that much better. So I agree with you.
And Elena Deladon wanted to be closer to her family, and the closest family, the closest team was the Mystics, the Delaware. Shakira Austin, but see, she didn't get drafted. She was traded. Shakira Austin is from the DMV. She went to high school in Upper Marlboro. She was born in Fredericksburg, but she was, grew up in the DMV. So she was hyped. Like, it's like you're playing with that extra added. For some people, they welcome that pressure. Some people shy away. KD, anyway. Saying, keeping it a buck. She enjoys playing in front of the hometown team. Not everybody built for tough like her. I'm just saying.
I think he's okay playing in DC. It's the amount of people he'd have to turn away because they would keep asking him for stuff just because he's.
Man, he got like
I understand his point. But I get yours too, though, in that Shakira is a tough gal. Like she's a trooper. I will say, like she She's a special kind of player. Yeah, like anybody would love to have her on the team. So I think if you're talking about face of an organization, I think you can look at Elena Deladon, but I think you also need to look at Shakira Austin too for the Mystics. Like that,
But see, here's the
those
thing.
two are the faces of your organization.
Shakira said, like, one, it was just an honor and a blessing to get drafted into the WNBA, but to get drafted by your hometown team, and you get to play in front of your family and friends. She was
But
like,
see,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
she said there's pressure that comes with that, but also she's like, I'm playing with pride. Like,
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's why she's the face of the organization along with Elena Deladon. Not too many players can do that. So I mean, end of day, good talent. She actually helps out Natasha Cloud, in my opinion, because she likes Natasha Cloud. They work well together. That duo you don't want to get rid of. And if Shakira Austin is part of the future and you continue winning, I think Natasha Cloud is kept because realistically, anybody in the day, unless you're a star player, is expendable. So if you fit chemistry wise, you're good. Like, and I know for a fact that if the right deal came along, Natasha Cloud would get dealt. And that's not from Natasha Cloud can't hoop or she's not good. I know personally that deal came across, it would get taken. And she's a good player. So I mean, I like Shakira Austin for you guys, man. Like, y'all are fine. Y'all in that tricky spot though, because I halfway want to say too, maybe you could possibly tank for one more season, but y'all didn't have to tank in order to get this fourth pick too. So hey, but Sharp, I greatly appreciate you for coming on the show, my boy. This was a good conversation. We definitely going to talk about some more WNBA teams later on in the season. You know, like monitoring. You know, it's coming out before long. So, but before we go, do you have anything you want to say to the folks for the close up shop?
If y'all haven't seen it, go see Air. Go see Air. That's all I'm
Ooh,
gonna say.
good call, good call. Yeah, we didn't talk about the shows. We did not talk about the shows at all.
Go see it. Go see it if y'all can. Even if y'all not a sneakerhead, if y'all Michael Jordan fan, trust me, the whole process. Let's put it like this: Mama Jordan, she's the real MVP. Go see the movie.
All right, bet. That's a nice little plug there. That's a nice little plug right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, hope you all had a good one. Please stay tuned. And until next time, take care.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets.